Hello and welcome back. This is the Clay Golem. This is Foundry VTT, and in this video we're looking at a mod by Ripper, and this is called Patrol. It's been around for years, but it's and I've never really got around to it, so we're doing that today. Now note that I am in version 13 of Foundry, but this works in version 11, it works in version 12. Like I say, it's been around for quite a long time. What does it do? Well, I mean, you can kind of see what it's doing. We have a number of goblins here who are, well, they're patrolling. That's what they're doing. We've got two different methods of doing these particular patrols, and we're going to look at both methods, how they work, and of course how to set them up. Now it's important to point out, like a vast majority of Ripper stuff, this is system agnostic. I happen to be in the D&D game engine, of course, but it will work for other systems as well. So if you're playing a space-based one, you might want things like, soldiers patrolling the corridors of the spaceship as opposed to soldiers patrolling the walls of a castle or whatever it might be. You might have the sheriff and his deputy patrolling town in a western, etc. Doesn't matter, works the same. So, two different ways of doing this. Let's look at this top one here. Now, hopefully you can see we've got this faint white line drawn on here, and this goblin is following that line. So it's patrolling a very specific route that we have drawn out for it, and it's just going to indefinitely follow that. So really useful if you've got guards who are following a very particular route, such as, looking up corridors and things like that. And it might be really nice, your players have got to attempt to sneak past, etc., or you just want to bring a bit of life to your map. You could do this with townsfolk just wandering around. It doesn't mean that they have to actually interact with the characters, but you could just have tokens moving around your maps to represent an inn, a busy market square, etc., if you want to do that. So he's just happily doing that, following that white line. Now, of course, we've also got that blue line on here, which I've got the word patrol written in the middle of. I've just drawn this shape because these three, including this little Diddy one, I'm not sure why that one was Diddy, but there we go. These three tokens are on random patrol. So they are not following a specific line. They are going anywhere that they want within the blue. Okay, so they're not allowed to walk outside the blue. This one over here was just right close to the edge, but he got to the edge and then he didn't go outside. So you can see he's moving around randomly, but not going outside that blue area. There we go, he's going to hit that, and then he's going to move back in again. He's going to hit it again, change direction. And again, he's got stuck in that corner a bit there, but he will find his way out. So that's the two main ways we can do this, but there is more before I get to showing you how to do that. Let's take John down here, who's attempting to enter this warehouse. He can open the door, and he's going to try and sneak in. Straight away, you saw that goblin just got a question mark over his head, and he got an alert signal. And now it's just paused the game, zoomed in on that goblin, and put a question mark, an exclamation mark above his head. So first of all, the goblin went, hang on a minute, I think there's something over there. And then it moved a bit closer and went, yes, there is. I can definitely tell there's something on there. So that would be, I nearly got spotted by the guard, but actually now I've moved a bit closer. I can definitely tell, or rather the guard's moved a bit closer, can definitely tell that that is something that needs to be dealt with. So it pauses the game and then you can enter combat or whatever you wish to do. Let's move John away a bit. Unpause the game. Oh, I've moved him right next to another one. Quick, run away, John. Now, because John's moved out the way, that one is no longer on alert for him. And annoyingly, he's in the wrong place. So if I pop John up here, that goblin's coming for him, isn't it? Oh, I've just created myself a mini game. Run away, John. Stay out of the way. Of course, that goblin's going to be right there where I don't want him at the moment. Of course. Classic for your players. Move over there, John. You'll be fine. They can't see you over there. But what about this guy here? Note that this guy on this path isn't being alerted to the fact that John's right by him. So that's an important difference between these two methods. Get out of the way, John. So important thing between these two methods. On the random patrol, you can set it up so that they are alerted to the fact that they've seen somebody, move towards them, and then pause the game when they've actually confirmed that's what it is. If you've got them on a dedicated path like this one, you can't use that feature as well because it won't leave the path. Slight shame, you know, it'd be nice if they could at least, if it would at least do alert to say, well, I've seen it within that range. But that's not part of the core function. I'm sure, you know, for those really clever scripty people, you could go away and do that. But that's not core function for this. Unless somebody's about to correct me in the comments, because it does happen quite a lot. And somebody will go, I know exactly how to do that. So please always read the comments. But reading Ripper's wiki and stuff like that, it suggests that that's not a thing. Okie dokie. So pretty cool, huh? And as you saw, you know, there's John trying to run around and not actually get caught by that. Let's have a look at some of the settings for this mod, just to give you an idea of what they are. So first of all, do you want those tokens to use diagonal movement? So rather than just moving left, right, up, down, can they move diagonally as well? You probably would want that on if you can, but it does take a lot more computation time. So if you've got a weaker machine, you know, a less powerful machine, less beefy, or you've got a lot going on in the scene, a lot of effects or a lot of patrols, you might find that gives you an issue. So turn that off would help. Same with smooth movement. Now you'll see my icons are nice gliding along rather than jumping from square to square. So that's the smooth movement thing again. But if you turn that off, it's a bit more jerky, but it will save you a bit of processing if that's a problem. Now we do have, let me move that back to the middle. We've got patrol delay, so the time in milliseconds before it computes each route. Again, the default here is 2,500. I've dropped mine down just because. So how long it is before it calculates that new route for it. And again, of course, you know, the lower that is, the more often it will probably be doing that, possibly impact on. So it doesn't change it, fiddle with it, play with it, see what works for you. Alert delay. So what's the delay before an alerted enemy spots the character? So it's got default of 5,000. I've left it at that, but you can also drop that down to 0 so that actually there is no alert period. It goes straight to spotted. So rather than, oh, I think something's over there, it will actually immediately go to, I've spotted it. You can add sound effects, and you've heard, hopefully that's come through okay, that I've got sound effects on mine. I just Googled for alert sounds, and I put 2 different ones in, a soft alert and just an alert sound in there. One for, oh, I've spotted, which is where the question marks appear above their head. And the other one is, you know, oh, I've actually found them. Okay. Patrol speed for the paths. This is how quickly the token moves from one node to another. So with the random paths, it is thinking about where it's going to go and effectively creating its own node, and then it moves at this speed to that node. So if you turn that right up, it's going to how long before it gets there, the time it takes to get there. So if you put this right up, it's going to take more time, so they're going to move slower. If you put it right down, it's going to take less time, so they're going to move quicker. Now that generally won't make a huge difference unless you're using this pathing like this one at the top here, because you are drawing the distance between those nodes. So what you need to bear in mind, and we'll show you this in a minute anyway, is if you make the distance between the nodes really big, it will have to move quicker to get between the 2 nodes in the same amount of time, right? And so if you've got a path that has the nodes are all different lengths, or the gaps between the nodes are all different lengths, it will speed up, slow down, speed up, slow down, because it's taking the same amount of time to get between the nodes, even if the distances change. But we'll, like I say, we'll play with that in a moment. And at the bottom here, we've just got reset to random node. So when we add them to drawings and things like that, it will actually just randomize where it's going to start. Doesn't make a huge difference, I found, just playing with it. So do whatever you like with that. All right. Should we actually set one up? Okay, so I'm going to over here, I'm going to create a new patrol route and I'm going to stick a goblin on it. So I'll do that in a second. I'm going to go to my drawing tools and I want to select the draw polygon. It does not work with the other shapes. You want polygon for this. I am going to start by dragging a line from there. Of course, I've gone off the bottom to there. And I've double clicked that really, really badly. Let's whoop. There we go. So I have drawn this one in here. It's very thin, etc. Now if I open this, I can obviously make changes to this to do with the size, the width, so I can hide it away if I want to. But what I do need to do is I do need to give this some kind of label so that it knows. Sorry, my machine's just beeping at me in the other corner, so that it knows what it's actually going to be doing here. So I'm going to come back to that and I'll show you how that works in a moment. But for now, I'm going to just give this, I'm going to call it path, I don't know, path C, right? So that is a path that's going to be on there. Now, awful with the writing over everything, but of course you can make that text transparent, transparent. Okay, see, we can barely see that. Now we've got that, I can grab a goblin and I can chuck him out. Now the problem is this goblin has no idea what he wants to do here. So if I double right click and I go into the goblin, first of all he should be hostile, he shouldn't be neutral, and he should be walking, but there we go. Right, under appearance. So if I scroll down, we've now got this box called patrol on here. Do I want to enable random patrol for this one? No, I don't. Do I want to enable path patrol? Yes, I do. And what's the name of that path? And I think I called it path C. So I can give it which node to start on. I don't need to do that, and I've asked it to randomize it anyway. So if I update, this one now knows he should be doing that, right? You can add things like vision on, but for this it doesn't matter. There we go, goblin's off. So that goblin is now, and if you've got it selected, by the way, if you've got the token selected, it won't start its patrol. So if you're finding out, go, why is he not moving? So he's just going to go backwards and forwards following his patrol route. I'm going to draw another one in here when I'm actually on the correct tool, of course. I'm going to draw another one in here. Alright, and on this one, I'm going to call this one path D. Alright, brilliant. So I've got two different paths here. I'm going to chuck this goblin out, double right click, go to, I'm going to make sure he's hostile because that's annoying me. Going to appearance, I'm going to go and say I want him to enable path control. I can put spot player characters on if I want to, it doesn't make any difference. And I'm going to call this one path D. So this goblin is supposed to follow path D. Now, is he going to? No, I've still got the token selected. If I deselect it, hopefully he'll sort himself out. There he goes. Look at the difference in speed between those two. Oh, there we go. He's slowed down much better. So they're now moving. Do you know what? When I was playing with this earlier, that wasn't the case at all. So I've inadvertently lied to you about the distances of the nodes. So it's the they're just sorting themselves out. They're all over the place with regard to speed. Now, of course, doing it just in one line is perhaps not what you would normally do. But their speeds are all over the place, which is a bit strange, and that's not what I had when I was testing this before doing. There's one slowed right down now. They've both slowed down. So I'm not quite sure, just sorting themselves out there a bit. Is he going to suddenly speed up again? Yep, he's going to suddenly speed up, bounce. Yeah, they got variable speed. I wasn't expecting variable speed on those. And certainly the one at the top who's doing a more of a circular route, this guy up here, is much more consistent in his speed. He does pause here, right at the very end, because he slows down. That's a very tiny bit at the end. And then he jumps back to his first node, and then he's off again. and you'll see his speed is a bit quicker on that one because it's a long one, slows down, and it's working on that one. It's not working on these as well, which is a bit interesting, and I suspect it's because of the because they are just a line from one end to the other, so it's getting a bit confused, resetting itself back to the different nodes, etc. I wonder if that is because, and I might have just answered my own question, under there where I said reset to random node, when they're finished they're resetting to a random node, that might be it. That might have been what it is, because I don't really want them resetting to a random node for these linear ones. Having said that, they're still jumping about pretty darn quick, aren't they? Right, anyway, you get the point. Play with it. Sort out your routes, get that sorted. Lovely jubbly. But yeah, you can just have them patrolling any route you want. So you can draw a route all the way around this warehouse if that's what you wanted to do. But key things are, you must have the under appearance, enable the path patrol, and give it a path name, which is the same name as the drawing. Just come back and select the drawing if I can. Thank you. It's because it's so thin. So path 3 as the text label, so it knows what the heck it's doing. What about this other one here that I made blue so that you can see it? So that's going to work the same, but instead of drawing a line for them to follow, we're going to be drawing a box for them to patrol within. So there we go. We've got that box there. And once again, I need to give it a name. Okay, if I need to call it patrol, I think I can call it, well, as long as it's got the word patrol in it, I believe. So patrol A for this one. Okay, and I can leave the writing on there for the purposes of the video. Let's take a goblin. And we're going to shove that goblin in there. Double right click on him, and for him we're going to be saying enable random patrol. Absolutely. We don't need to give it a patrol path because he's not following a path. All right. So he's just going to be patrolling around in there. So if I click that again, if I deselect him, he should work himself out, and off he goes. He's now patrolling. So that's really, really easy. What did I do with John? John's all the way up the top here. Right, come on then down, John. Now he can go past these ones. These will not spot him. They make no difference. I can, on either of these, if I can grab him, I can give them some vision to make sure they can see. I can make sure they can see 30 foot. That's fine. They've actually got dark vision. And under the appearance tab, I can say that I want them to spot characters, update token, but don't do it. Okay, and this is a known thing. This is on the wiki. It says like they won't spot it. All right, they won't spot him. If I come down here and John walks into here, this one won't spot him either because I haven't made that change. So let's go into here and we say, oh, I want you to spot player. There we go. That goblin, which should be in his patrol route. If I take him off, he's going to start patrolling. He's now set to spot players, but he's not. Why? Okay, so this is the type of thing you might need to debug. Well, not debug, because it's not a bug. We've told it random patrol. We've told it to spot the player, but he can't spot it because this one doesn't have any vision. Let's give him some vision. Let's give him 20 foot, not 200. Let's give him 20 foot vision. We'll give him basic vision. It's decided to give him dark vision as a detect mode because he's a goblin and they have dark vision. Okay, so let's update that. And now if we go too close, there we go. He's going to spot John. He's going to move in his direction. And then he gets alerted. Yeah. So notice the way that he didn't move diagonally because we switched that off, but he moved towards John, and of course it has paused the game. Now interestingly, who's it paused? It's paused over, it hasn't paused these two dudes over here who are doing something slightly odd anyway, but it's paused all the others, including the other one on his. Oh yeah, it's paused that one now. They finally got to the end of their little path. Is that one going to pause as well? No, that one's going to carry on going. Alright, so you can see how it works anyway. Move John out the way again. So the important facts for the patrol, if you want it to do, is, as I said before, make sure that you've got vision. Give them a range of vision. Oh, look, he's moved out of his patrol area because he's come and found John. It's found him and it's paused my game. Make sure you give them vision. Make sure that you have set them to spot player characters. Okay, and in this case, enable random patrol for it. Now, what I haven't tried, and this is not documented as a thing, so I'm going to get rid of that dude. And I'm going to get rid of this patrol route down here. Alright. I'm going to take one random goblin and I'm going to stick him there. Unpause the game. I am not going to assign him to a patrol route or a patrol area. Okay, so in theory, this shouldn't work, but it might. I'm going to tell him to spot player characters anyway. Right? I'm not going to enable random patrol. I'm going to give him vision of 20 foot. And I'm just wondering... That's interesting. Did it? Oh, it did. Yeah. Okay. It didn't immediately update his detection mode. So that's fine. So he's got detection and he's designed to spot player characters. So I'm wondering, and this would be neat, but it's not supposed to. Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't do it. I was just wondering if it would still give the alert even though he's not actually on patrol. But I can immediately, if I want to, put him on patrol and go, yep, you're on a random patrol, go for it. And he's straight away spotted. He's moved. And he's detected and done that. So, just playing with it, as I do. I promise, I always test and I play with these things before I start a video. But it's nice just kind of like things on the fly and you go, oh, I wonder if. He's been spotted by that one now as well. So that goblin spotted him, yep, and has detected him. Lots and lots of different things you could choose to use this for, of course. Like I say, you know, the ones that are just following a path, has been detected again, of course. The ones that are just following a path, that's really nice just for the visuals and stuff like that. But you might want them randomized. You might want goblins just randomly patrolling in their caves and the players have to attempt to sneak past them and everything else. Cool, huh? I think for me, the most use I would get out of it is setting up people and things to walk around just to bring a little bit of life to a scene rather than using the alert system. Because I want to take into account things like stealth rolls and stuff like that rather than just, you know, trying to get through the way it is. But anyway, have a play with it. If you already use this in your game, be really interested, if you wouldn't mind dropping in the comments, what you use it for. Do you use it purely for the aesthetics to create some movement within a scene? Do you use put them actually on patrol and have them with detections, things like that? Any tricks and tips in the comments would be much appreciated, of course. And if you've enjoyed this, if you think it's useful, leave a like, leave a comment. If you're not subscribed, please do so. It really helps out the channel. All of that really, really good stuff. And I will see you in the next one. Take care, everybody.